Hi everyone, it's Fernando again. Artificial intelligence is something that has been present since the beginning of what we currently know as science fiction. From the extremely deep and insightful perspective that Mary Shelley has of the genre with Frankenstein, and of course Isaac Asimov with I, Robot, also considering HAL 9000 in 2001 A Space Odyssey from Arthur C. Clarke, and the fearsome AM from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream from Harlan Ellison. Pretty much most of the more remarkable science fiction out there portrays artificial intelligence as something that finally will end up being terribly bad for us. But have you ever thought, what if actually AI, in the other hand, will be really caring about humans? But I mean, really caring? Well, in today's video, we're going to analyze this based on the 1994 novel The Metamorphosis of Primal Intellect from Roger Williams. Fuck, what a long name. In this novel, we'll follow Lawrence, a brilliant scientist that created an artificial intelligence called Primal Intellect, and Caroline, a bold woman of almost 600 years old, living in a futuristic society in what we can define as a post-scarcity era. Lawrence, after many years of work, was offered by a big tech company to help him to create the needed infrastructure to completely deploy the full capacity of Primal Intellect. But before we continue, did you guys know about the 3 laws of robotics? Well, Lawrence, as the brilliant scientist he was, and not like the computer science neo-stoic majors that thinks that ChatGPT is a genuine intelligence and working 70 hours a week is being smart, he hard-coded inside Primal Intellect these rules that could never be overridden from it. And this is when the funny thing happens. Basically, the 3 laws of robotics are a set of rules proposed by Isaac Asimov in 1942 that every robot or AI should follow no matter the circumstances. So what are these laws then? Well, they go as follows. First rule: a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Second law: a robot must obey the orders given it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. Third law: a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. If you notice, this set of rules seems simple, but Asimov, through his novels and Williams on this one, explained that even if they are simple, the number of interpretations and exceptions to this set of rules can reach an infinite amount of variations while keeping the essence of its intentions. But what is the actual limit? Thanks to its new calculation power, Primal Intellect reached the level of a god. Practically, it has the ability to modify the reality however the humans want, all within the restriction of the 3 laws of the robotics. That in this time, not even its creator is capable of overriding from its system. So how would you imagine a world in which a practical god looks after you at any time? Shit, I think that is like the main intention of God, but it's not like he's going to give me a PS5 for Christmas. But well. Basically, there is no need for food, no diseases, an unlimited experience on demand, and most importantly, you are immortal. And that's when Caroline joins the party. Caroline, as a citizen of this new utopia, she spends her time basically trying to get killed. Through a verbal contract with Primal Intellect, she is able to override temporarily the protection Primal Intellect has over the entire humanity and allow her to have near-death experiences to a limit in which her body can almost die. But remember, almost, because Primal Intellect could not allow any human to die based on the first law. And this has become the greatest entertainment in this new society. They will call them the death jockeys. So pretty much, whenever you don't have to work and all your needs are fulfilled, the only thing that is left is to make a stupid shit. Just like your white friend in his 30s having a podcast in his parents' basement. Of course, there are other media that explores this, such as the the lore of the Eldari in Warhammer 40,000, that after entering in a post-scarcity era, their morbid hedonistic behavior lead them to their doom, more or less like the ultra-rich fellows that has private islands and really suspicious parties. But realistically, after thousands of years of evolution, do you really think we need to pursue something to prevent people from going nuts? There are animals out there that practically they do a shit the entire freaking day, just like your unemployed friend posting photos in the beach on a Wednesday morning. Primal intellect is described as a non-mature god, one that along with our protagonist, he will try to deal with the wills and wants of this new society. Despite the fact I'm a fanboy of sci-fi, and hear me out, I'm aware that this genre is not particularly popular compared to fantasy, of course, because if I'm honest, at least 90% of the sci-fi movies and series are legit crap, and of course in books, we have a bunch that are mediocre on its writing style, but actually it is the only genre, or at least one of the few, that doesn't need to have a particular style, or complexity, or clever metaphors and descriptions. It only requires a bold imagination, and if you ask me, is the only or one of the few genres that feels dynamic, and not only a timeless portrait of a particular moment in history. Honestly, I didn't want to give a lot of spoilers on this one, because it's one of the most original sci-fi books I've read in recent years. I wouldn't say that it's another grim and dark prediction about the future with AI, but as a really good sci-fi book, it helps us to see ourselves through the eyes of progress. And most importantly, it reminds us how small we are compared to the world around us. And actually, the ending of the book is pretty damn original, but no spoilers because I really want you to read this one. Honestly, it is kind of worry for me because this whole thing about what we currently call AI is something that is closer to an automated web browser than actually something that is smart. I know that probably some of you will say, oh dude, but there's a lot of scientific progress around it. Yeah, but it's not that it is intelligent. It has the capacity of creating algorithms in a more flexible and I think faster than the methods we used to have. But honestly, I keep saying that if you really think AI right now is being smart, you're not really smart enough, my friend. Actually, you're kind of a dick. But well, at least in this novel, you can find a real AI that is capable of understanding and have conclusions that are actually made from within and not being programmed by a dick in the US. So give it a try. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And honestly, I'm going to try to not make a lot of videos on sci-fi because I know that is not really popular, but man, I make videos based on the books I'm reading. So I will try to read good books. But well, see you guys.